everybody! Today we're going to try to recreate a bouquet. Here's the inspiration image. Just going to be an all white rose bouquet. So it's going to be fairly simple, but we're going to be using silk flowers. And on my table we have our main ingredient, the white silk roses. Of course we have some greenery. There's some eucalyptus and also ficus. And over to the tools, we have the cutter, we have regular scissors, there's also some pins for when it comes to ribboning. And then we also have 4 types of, I guess, maybe adhesive, just to wrap the entire bouquet together. So there's the green floral tape, there's some twine, there's also some floral wires, and then some regular zip ties. Out of these 4, I think my favorite would be the green floral tape, because this one is just, you stretch it and then it becomes sticky, and I think it's really easy to work with. It's something that I've worked with a lot of times. Of course, I've used some of the different other methods because some of my bouquets are a little bit bigger, so it's easier to do it quicker. But yeah, over onto the ribboning, we have the antique white ribbon. This one is more softer compared to this regular white satin ribbon. It has a little bit of roughness on the texture. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I think I would recommend using this one on bridal bouquets, and this one probably for like curtains or even for boutonnieres. All in all, that's all the tools that we're going to be using for today's bouquet. To get started, we're going to take 4 roses. This is how I usually like to get started. I take 4 roses and then I create kind of like a cube. With that, that's how I get my base. Depending on the style that you're creating, you're gonna start adding greenery. As for me, looking at my inspiration picture, I will start to add a little bit of greenery because there is greenery peeking out. It doesn't always show, but it does add volume to the bouquets. And as you add more roses, it won't be as visible as it was initially. So don't be afraid to add a little bit more than you'd like. And then from that, I'm going to start adding roses. I'm adding them on their side rather than just straightforward like this. So it's able to create that sphere-like shape of the bouquet. I know that our inspiration picture isn't necessarily just a perfect rounded bouquet. It does have a little bit of levels into it, but we're able to adjust the placing of the roses a little bit afterwards. So just to make it easier, I'm just gonna place the greenery and the roses first, and then we're gonna start leveling them differently. Also, just to kind of point it out there, I know there's a bunch of greenery collecting at the bottom. That we can take care of towards the end. So I'm just going to continue adding roses and greeneries. You see already the first layer of greenery that we added with our 4 base roses. It's a little bit hidden, or a lot of it is actually hidden already. So yeah, don't be afraid to add the greenery, because I think roses with greenery always looks like more natural, and it definitely adds texture. So you always want to look at the full picture by placing it like this in front of your face, or even better, if you had a mirror somewhere in your room, you just would look at the bouquet with this face, look at the mirror, and you see where in your bouquet do you need to add more elements. By looking this way, I would say you need to add a little bit more here. It's getting closer to how I want it to be. So far, I think it's looking definitely round, which is good if that's what you're trying to achieve, but for me, I'm trying to elevate the top and then lower the sides. So I think I'm going to start doing that, and since this is silk flowers, I can touch the head directly. So I'm going to just go ahead and raise the center. Of course, it's going to be looser a little bit, so you want to make sure that you hold it firmly so that it kind of starts losing its shape. And you want to raise a little bit of the side, also lower some, so it has different levels to it and different textures. You want to have one highest point in the bouquet, and I'm going to make it this rose. You can also raise some of your greenery. It would be hard to do this with fresh flowers, you know, touching the head. It will lead to quicker drying, so you want to make sure that if you decide to touch the head, you can carefully do it with gloves, like nitrile powder-free gloves, or you could just start leveling in the beginning. So, and then I think this should be good for the final outlook. For now, I want to see how it looks tied up, And what I'm gonna do with these excess greenery is that instead of cutting it off, I'm gonna firm it together, and I'm gonna try to flatten it, because it will make the entire ribboning process, or just the handle of the bouquet, thicker than usual. First off, before I do that, I'm gonna use the green floral tape. If you are working with silk flowers, it might be better to use twine, because that way you don't have to deal with stickiness. If you need something that's quick, you can also take a twine. Now I'm gonna try to hold. So you can either cut off the excess greens at the bottom, or you can hide it with a ribbon. Start at the highest point of the bouquet to cover your initial ribbon or twine. Use your thumb to press on it as you roll. So I'm gonna continue rolling. You have to try and make it as flat as possible. So when you're done, you want to fold the end of the ribbon to hide any imperfect cuttings, and then start pinning upwards. Never pin straight forward, since the pin can go out through the other side. I usually put 3 pins, but you can put however many you want, just as long as the ribbon is secure, and then that should be it. Thank you so much for watching. This is the final look, and we'll see you in the next video.